Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we continue with the play which we study this term, The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. Um, last lecture, we stopped at a situation or an incident in the play where Tom Wingfield came back late uh, from outside where he was watching movies and it was a long program and he was speaking to Laura, his sister. And the thing that he remembers very well was a trick by a magician. And the most wonderful trick that he liked most was when the magician put himself into a coffin and he managed to get out of the coffin without removing one single nail. So Tom is very much interested in this idea, and we said that the coffin can be a symbol or an allegory for the type of life which Tom is living, um, and he aspires or he hopes for a kind of going somewhere else to escape from this life. But he doesn't want to remove any nail. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He doesn't want to cause any problems to anyone. We know that his sister Laura is still a burden. And in the next section of the text, we're going to see Tom and his mother talking again, and his mother trying to have a deal with him. So let's continue with the text. Um, so now we have a new scene where Tom, it's in the morning, and Tom is sitting up slowly. I'll rise, but I won't shine. And the light increases. So Amanda is calling Laura, tell your brother his coffee is ready. She's asking Laura to tell her brother to get up because his coffee is ready so that he can go to work after that. And Laura slips into the front room. Laura is calling upon Tom here. Tom, it's nearly 7. Don't make mother nervous. So she's trying to calm things down. Laura, we know she is at the moment, she is a kind of the common element of interest between the mother and the son. So Laura is the center of at the center of the play, and her mother cares about her, and at the same time, Tom cares about his sister. So don't make mother nervous. He stares at her stupidly, beseechingly. So he doesn't like the idea that he gets up every morning, early every morning, to go to a job which he doesn't like. Tom, speak to mother this morning. So she wants him to make up for what he did, like because last time he insulted his mother, calling her a witch, and after that we haven't seen them talking together. Make up with her, like try to fix things with your mother. Apologize for what you did. Speak to her. And then Tom replies, she won't to me. She won't speak to me. It's her that started not speaking. It's the mother that is who is not speaking to me at the moment. Laura, if you just say you're sorry, she'll start speaking. Her not speaking, is that such a tragedy? Please, please. So Laura here uh, um, is trying to calm things down between Tom, the son, and his mother, Amanda. So we see Amanda again calling from kitchenette. It's a kitchenette because the whole apartment is small. So, Laura, are you going to do what I asked you to do? Or do I have to get dressed and go out myself? So it seems like Amanda wants Laura to go out to get something, fetch her something, buy something. We will know soon. Laura, going, going. Soon I get on my couch. She pulls on a shapeless felt hat, a hat without a shape, with nervous, jerky movement, pleadingly, glancing at Tom. rushes awkwardly for coat. The coat is one of Amanda's, inaccurately made over the sleeves, too short for Laura. So here, this is a coat that belongs to the mother, but because the family is poor and Amanda cannot buy Laura a new coat, so she trimmed or retailored her own coat and gave it to Laura. So Laura is dressing in her mother's coat. This could be also symbolic, like Laura is a kind of um, leading a traditional life. There's nothing new in her life. She may be like her mother. So you have to read this. These kind of direction notes left by the writer are very symbolic and are very informative and telling. Butter and what else? So she wants her to buy things from outside. Amanda, centering upstage, just butter. Tell them to charge it. It seems like the family doesn't have money to pay for the thing they buy. So at the moment, so they pay later. Mother, they make such faces when I do that. Like when she said to them, like to charge it, like we're gonna pay later. They look at her in a way that she doesn't like. So Amanda said, "Sticks and stones can break our bones, but the expression on Mister uh, Garfinkel's face won't harm us." This is the man who sells groceries. And she tells her that even when he makes his face, this will not harm you physically. But we know Laura is sensitive. It's not a matter of sticks or stones or fearing that her body would be in pain, at pain or hurted. It's about her psychology. She doesn't like people to look at her in a way that may harm her. She is so shy. She is so sensitive, unlike her mother. Who tell your brother here, your brother, his coffee is getting cold, so he should wake up to drink his coffee and then uh, off to work. Laura adore, do what I asked you. She's talking to Tom here. Will you? Will you, Tom? Like she's asking him to speak to his mother. He looks suddenly away. He's not that much happy. Um, Amanda, Laura, go now, or just don't go at all. And Laura rushing out, going, going. A second later, she cries out. Tom springs up and crosses the door. Amanda rushes anxiously in. Tom opens the door. Tom, Laura, I'm all right. I slept, but I'm all right. So it seemed like Laura slipped on the stairs, and Amanda is peering anxiously after her. If anyone breaks a leg on those fire escape steps, the landlord ought to be sued for every cent he possesses. She shuts door, remembers she isn't speaking, and returns to other room. Right, we spoke previously about the fire escape, and we said this is a favorite location or space for Tom, where he stands most of the time to remember things, to tell us about things. The fire escape is very symbolic because they represent the the barrier, the borders between the inside world, inside the flat, inside the apartment, and the outside world in the society in general. In society in general. So even Laura here, when she sleeps, um, this is very symbolic because it means that when Laura goes out from her room, goes out of her room, her own living room where she keeps the glass menagerie. This is her own world where she feels most comfortable and convenient. When she goes out, she starts to stumble, she starts to slip because she cannot cope with society in general. That's why her slipping here is not should not just be passing without our thinking about it as symbolic for her inability to cope with society. But what is interesting here as well is that we see both Tom and Amanda, you know, you see Tom springs up like he went to see what's going on because they know that Laura is at risk or in danger now. So both of them, Tom and his mother, were rushing to help her. So this is the common thing between Tom and his mother. They're caring about Laura. So Laura is at the center of the play, at the center of the attention of both the mother and the brother. So okay, she's not in that big danger or risk. They both go back to their what they're doing. Tom enters listlessly for his coffee. She turns her back to him. The mother still angry with him and stands rigidly facing the window on the gloomy grey vault of the areaway. Its light on her face, with its aged but childish features, is cruelly sharp, satirical, as a Daumier print. Daumier was he was a French caricature painter, and he would, you know, paint satirical uh, paintings or drawings. Music under Ave Maria. Ave Maria is a song, okay, a lyric. Tom glances sheepishly, cowardly, but sunnily, sadly, at her averted figure and slumps at the table. The coffee is scalding hot, very hot. He sips it and gasps and spits it back in the cup. It's too hot to drink. At his gasp, Amanda catches her breath and half turns, then catches herself and turns back to him. Tom blows on his coffee, glancing sidewise at his mother. She clears her throat. Tom clears his throat as well. He starts to rise, sinks back down again, scratches his head, clears his throat again. So as we see this minute description of the the body expression of the characters, what the gestures they do, because they're trying to speak to each other again, and it seems like an awkward moment, difficult situation. So it's like clearing their throats, not looking at each other. So at the end, Tom hoarsely, بصوت أجش يعني hoarsely, Mother, I apologize, Mother. So eventually, Tom is apologetic. He says, I'm sorry to his mother. Amanda draws a quick, shuddering breath. Her face works grotesquely. She breaks into childish tears. She cries now when he said that. I'm sorry for what I said. For everything that I said, I didn't mean it. Um, Amanda sobbingly, still crying. My devotion has made me a witch. This is a word which he used when he insulted her last time. You remember? And so I make myself hateful to my children. So this is something that she didn't expect after all her devotion, after carrying the responsibility of bringing them up. When the father left, as we know, she um, she took the responsibility. She acted as a mother and a father at the same time. Tom, no. You don't. It's like you don't make yourself hateful to us. I worry so much. I don't sleep. It makes me nervous. Tom, I understand that. Gently. So now things are going back to normal between them. Amanda, I've had to put up a solitary battle all these years. Solitary means alone because she's a single mother, a lone mother. So she's fighting. So, like, look at this expression, a solitary battle. She's not living in life. She is fighting in life. She's struggling. And this shows the suffering and the sacrifice or the sacrifices the single mother is doing in this kind of life in America at that time. But you are my right hand power. It's like you have all the power now. I depend on you. Don't fall down. Don't fail. Don't let us down. You should be there supporting me and your sister. So, Tom, gently, I try, mother. Amanda, with great enthusiasm, try and you will succeed, encouraging him. The notion makes her breathless. Why? Why you are just full of natural endowment? Why? Why you? You're just full of natural endowments. You are talented. Both of my children, they are unusual children. They are unusual because they are different. Each of them um, has different characteristics. Don't you think I know it? I'm so proud, happy, and feel I have so much to be thankful. But promise me one thing, son. What, mother? Promise, son, you will never be a drunkard. You will not drink too much, excessive drinking, and come back home late at night, stumbling your way. Turns to her, uh, grinning. I will never be a drunkard, mother. That's what frightened me so, that you'd be drinking. Eat a bowl of burina. Burina is like cat's food, dog's food. Just coffee, mother. Shredded wheat biscuit. No, no, mother, just coffee. So she's like caring about what he should eat at breakfast, and she wants him to eat some food. Well, he wants coffee, just coffee. You can't put in a day's work on an empty stomach. You can't put in a day's work on an empty stomach. You can't survive the whole day without eating. You've got 10 minutes. You still have time. Don't gulp. Don't drink quickly. Drinking too hot liquids makes cancer of the stomach. Put cream in. This scene actually reminds us of the first scene when they were eating together and she was so um, observant of the way he eats and she asked him to swallow his food slowly and munch his food slowly so that he can easily digest it. So she's following the same policy she started with at the beginning of the play. No, no, thank you, Mom. Amanda, to cool it, she's asking him to put cream, add cream to the coffee. No, no, thank you. I want it black. Um, I know, but it's not good for you. We have to do all that we can build ourselves up. In these trying times we live in, all that we have to cling to is each other. So to support each other, to have this kind of human mutual support as a family. That's why it's so important, Tom. I sent out your sister so I could discuss something with you. So it seems like Laura was sent out deliberately to buy something so that the mother can have this kind of private conversation between her and her son about Laura. If you hadn't spoken, I would have spoken to you. So she's telling him that even if you didn't start to talk to me, I would have started talking to you because I want to tell you something about Laura. Tom, gently, what is it, mother, that you want to discuss? Laura. So she wants to discuss something about Laura with Tom. Tom puts up his cup. sorry, puts his cup down slowly, and legend on the screen, Laura. So we have like a message written and hung on at the back of the stage with Laura's name on it, and music, the Glass Menagerie, the music of the song, the Glass Menagerie. Oh, Laura, Amanda touching his sleeve. You know how Laura is, so quiet, but still water runs deep. There's something about her that we need to discuss. She notes things, and I think she broods about them. I think that Laura, broods, thinks too much about or contemplates these things, which she knows. Tom looks up. A few days ago, I came in and she was crying. What about? Why she's crying? Crying about what? Amanda, about you, me. She has an idea that you're not happy here. So Laura knows that Tom doesn't like the job he has. Tom doesn't like living with the family in this flat, and he doesn't like the city life, and he wants to leave. She knows that, and she was crying about it. And what gave her that idea? Tom is asking his mother. What gives her any idea? However, you do act strangely. It's the way you act gives her that. I'm not criticizing you. Understand that. I know your ambitions do not lie in the warehouse. So the mother knows that Tom wants to leave because he has ambitions, and these ambitions cannot be fulfilled here in this job he's doing in the warehouse. That, like everybody in the whole wide world, you have, you have had to make sacrifices. But Tom, life's not easy. It calls for Spartan endurance. Endurance, to be able to endure difficult things. Spartan goes back to Sparta, a city at ancient Greek, where people like were strong and fighting and um, have um, an ability to endure difficult situations. There's so many things in my heart that I cannot describe to you. I have never told you, but I loved your father. And it seems like Tom knows that. I know that, mother, Amanda, and you, when I see you taking after his ways. So it seems like for Amanda, Tom looks like his father in the way he behaves, in the way he wants to lead the family, in the way he likes adventures and traveling, staying out late, and well, you have been drinking the night you were in that terrifying condition. Remember when they were having a fight? Laura says that you hate the apartment and that you go out nights to get away from it. Is that true? So again, as we said, this is the theme of escape here, uh, because Tom doesn't like the kind of life he is living at the moment. He wants to escape it, and how to escape it is by going to the cinema every night, watching movies. Um, Tom, no, you say there's so much in your heart that you can't describe to me. That's true of me too. It's like I have a lot of things in my heart that I can't describe to you too, Mom. There's so much in my heart that I can't describe to you. So let's respect each other's. But why? Why, Tom? I'm always so restless. Where do you go to nights? It seems like there's something here that Tom doesn't want to tell his mother. Tom, I go to the movies. Why do you go to the movies so much, Tom? I go to the movies because I like adventure. So Tom likes adventure. Tom does not like the static life of the city or of the warehouse. And adventure is It's something that needs the man or the person or the human being to move, to be in moving all the time, to be dynamic, not to be static. Adventure is something I don't have much of at work. So I don't have this kind of adventure at the warehouse where I work. So I go to the movies. So this is the alternative world in which he watches adventure, but he does not practice it. So gives him the movies give him an alternative world um, where he can see adventures, but he cannot, of course, um, practice it at the moment. But Tom, you go to the movies entirely too much. So Tom replies, I like a lot of adventure. Amanda looks baffled, then hurt, as the familiar inquisition resumes. It's like he goes to the movies too much. She wants to know why he goes to the movies too much. And the same answer. So she's still inquisitive, like she wants to know what is the real reason. He becomes hard and impatient again. And the more she asks him about why he goes to the movies, and he starts to become angry. Amanda slips back into her querulous attitude towards him. This is like she's fighting with him. Image on screen. Sailing vessel with Holy Roger. So this is what he wants to do. Sailing. He wants to be a sailor. He wants to be on a ship. Jolly Roger actually is a ship that was modeled on Santa Maria. Santa Maria was the ship that Christopher Columbus used to use when he discovered the America. So a kind of adventure, a kind of going to somewhere you don't know, discovering the world. Amanda, most young men find adventure in their careers. So she's asked him to focus on his career and to try to find the adventure there. So he said, then most young men are not employed in a warehouse. They must be doing something else, but not working in a warehouse. Amanda said, the world is full of young men employed in warehouses and offices and factories. There are many working your job, doing the same job you're doing, and they are living and they are happy. So Tom said, do all of them find adventure in their careers? And she said, they do, or they do without it. Not everybody has a craze for adventure, like is fond of finding adventure. And this is what Tom replies. Man is by instinct, بالفطرة, by instinct, بالغريزة, a lover, a hunter, a fighter, and none of those instincts are given much play at the warehouse. And all these things are not there in the warehouse. So we underline the word instinct because we came across this word before. You remember when he was reading that novel by D.H. Lawrence, and we said that Lawrence talks about instinct. So this is something that he borrowed from D.H. Lawrence. And again, this is something that the mother doesn't like, the word instinct, al-ghariza. So man is by instinct. So she's surprised. Amanda, don't quote instinct to me. Don't say this word to me. Instinct is something that people have got away from. It belongs to animals. So the mother sees that instinct belongs only to animals. Christian adults, and that's how we see Amanda as a religious figure. Christian adults don't want it, don't want instinct. And Tom, what do Christian adults want then, Mother? If they don't want instinct, what they want? She said superior things, things that are above and beyond instinct, things of the mind and the spirit. Only animals have to satisfy instincts. Surely your aims are somewhat higher than theirs, than monkeys. Pigs, these are animals and they have instincts, but you as a human being should have higher and finer things to care about. So Tom said, I reckon they are not. He's saying, I think that my aims are not higher than monkeys and pigs. You're joking. However, that isn't what I wanted to discuss. So Tom rising, I haven't much time. I don't have a lot of time because I have to go to work. Pushing his shoulder, sit down. You want me to punish in red at the warehouse? So, mother is telling her, do you want me to be late for work? Punch in red. She said, you have 5 minutes. I want to talk about Laura. So legend plans and provisions. So there is a plan. The mother must have a plan that she wants to discuss with Tom. And this is the deal we talked about. That she's going to have a deal with him. I know that you want to imitate your father. You want to follow in the steps of your father. You want to leave the family. Okay, I can permit you to go and leave the family behind, but in on one condition, that you find someone instead of you to support the family. Uh, in other words, that you should find a gentleman called a would-be husband for your sister to take care of her, because your sister is dependent on you at the moment. If you leave now, who is going to take care of her? So, Tom, all right, what about Laura? Amanda, we have to be making some plans and provisions for her. She is older than you, 2 years older than you, and nothing has happened. She's the same. She does not change. She just drifts along doing nothing. She is a failure in everything, in education, in jobs. It frightens me terribly how she just drifts along. I mean, she's not moving forward. She does not progress. Tom, I guess she is the type that people call home girls. So he thinks that Laura is a home girl type, like a traditional maid or housewife that would stay at home, cook for her husband, tidy the do the housework. So Amanda said, "There's no such time, and if there is, it's a pity. That's unless the home is hers." Yeah, okay. If she is a home girl, where is the home for her? With a husband, she needs a husband to be a home girl. Without that, it's a pity. What? Oh, I can see the handwriting on the wall as plain as I see the nose in front of my face. It's terrifying. More and more, you remind me of your father. So Amanda knows well for sure that Tom will leave the family. He was out all hours without explanation. He went out for long hours without saying what he's doing outside, then left, goodbye at the end, and me with the bag to hold. And he left the responsibility to me. I saw that letter you got from the merchant Marvin. This is a company that uh, Tom is communicating with because he wants to join them and leave the family. I know what you are dreaming of. I'm not standing here blindfolded. It's like I know things about you, which he didn't tell me, but I know them. Very well then. Then do it. Okay, go. If you want to go, go. But not till there is somebody to take your place. So we need somebody to take um your place. Okay. Who is this somebody? We'll know. And why he should take his place, because Laura needs support. So Tom, what do you mean? Asking his mother. Amanda, I mean that as soon as Laura has got somebody to take care of her, married, a home of her own, independent, so she becomes independent, like not depending on anybody. Why then you will be free to go wherever you please, on land, on sea, whichever way the wind blows you. So this is the deal which Amanda wants uh, to have with or conduct with her son. Get somebody for your sister to take care of her. But until that time, you have got to look out for your sister to support her, take care of her. I don't say me because I'm old. Don't matter. I say for your sister because she is young and dependent. Okay? I bought her in business college, a dismal failure, utter failure, frightened her, so it made her sick at the stomach. She didn't have the courage to continue the course. I took her over to the Young People's League at the church, another fiasco. Fiasco means failure as well. So every opportunity the mother opens for Laura, Laura lets her down. Laura is not a success at all. She spoke to nobody. So Laura is not communicative. She cannot cope with society. Nobody spoke to her. Now all she does is fool with those pieces of glass. This is her world, okay? And play those worn out records, the music left by her father, the only link between her and her father. What kind of a life is that for a girl to lead? Okay, so Tom, what can I do for about it? So Amanda, overcome selfishness. Self is all that you ever think about. So you are just thinking about yourself and forgetting about your sister. Tom springs up and crosses to got his coat. It's ugly and bulky. He pulls on a cap with earmuffs. Where's your muffler? Put your wool muffler on. He snatches it angrily from the clothes, tosses and okay. Tom, I haven't said what I had in mind to ask you. So she wants still to ask him something. I'm too late, mother. Amanda, down at the warehouse. Aren't there some nice young men? Now she's asking him um to find somebody for Laura. No, Tom replies. Amanda, there must be some. Tom, mother, gesture. Find out one that's clean living. I mean, someone who doesn't drink like you, or ask him out for sister. What? For sister? To me, to get acquainted, to know your sister. Oh my gosh. This is something, of course, surprising for Tom. And this is not normal, by the way. So, Amanda, will you? He opens door imploringly. Will you? Starts down. Will you, dear? So she is like demanding. She persisted on in asking him for that. Calling back, yes. So eventually he succumbs to her. He gives in, and he would do that. And the gentleman caller, as you know, if you read the text to the end, would be Jim O'Connor, the fourth character in this play, whom we will talk about, inshallah, in the next lecture. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, you can send it on the group on WhatsApp or send me an email or WhatsApp me privately. Thank you for your attention and for listening to the lecture.